Hi everyone. Uh, Hi and welcome to our third NordSync project stream. And My name is Stefan, and I have fantastic guests with me today. Hi everyone. Yeah, I'm sorry. We will, from time to time, have a little technical issues, technical pauses because I need to steer the stream. But for now, it seems we are all set. Um, I'm very happy to see everyone here and my guests today, Nguyen Thien Minh and Claudia Cox, and we will be talking about different artistic productions. Yeah, and of course I have to introduce our extra guest, Emil Hakel-Kleve, and it's very nice to have you here as well. Yeah, as I said, we will be talking about artistic productions and how we combine different genre of arts in order to reach more people and to probably reach more powerful artistic penetration in a way into our audience's souls. This is a project by NordSync. We are a network of artists, and our main goal is to connect artists, musicians, visual artists, dancers, and so on, in order to provide platform for exchange of ideas, inspiration, hopefully a more practical collaboration contacts so that people can virtually find a partner for a future production. And Yeah, we are hoping to have a practical impact on the musical industry and art industries in general. I would like to ask my guests today to introduce themselves, and we can start with you, Min, if you could say a couple of words about yourself, where you come from. Thank you. And Yeah, Claudia, could you tell us a little bit about yourself? That's a very nice way of putting it. Thank you. It sounds really exciting, especially the Bergen, which has the same energy as Australia. Does it rain as much as in Australia? It couldn't be more. Yeah, it's pretty insane. Yes, thank you so much. We come back to you in a second. And finally, Emil, maybe you could also tell us a little bit about yourself. Mm, fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah, Claudia, did you did you want to say something? Just so you know, we are totally fine with interrupt each other, and if you have anything to comment, just feel free. It's amazing. Well, I think just to fulfill the picture, and I'm feeling so privileged to be in this gang of with you guys. I will just probably also say a couple of words about where I come from, so that it's even and fair. I'm Stefan. I'm born in Russia in the northwest. Same story as you guys. Started early playing violin. Oof, we are almost all of us are violinists here today. It's a bit creepy. And then at the age of 17, I got a scholarship, moved to Oslo. And but unlike you guys, I did NMH, Norwegian Academy of Music. And around that time, I also met Min. And a little bit later, when I worked in Bergen, I met Claudia, which I'm very happy to. This is the best part of what I'm doing now, which is coordinating this little NordSync project, is that I can meet you guys again. And even though our acquaintances were not so long, I'm very happy that we can get back and talk about music, which I think we didn't have enough at the time. Yes, I think we proceed. And I think maybe Claudia, you go first. Could you please tell us about this fantastically looking project? I'm stalking you a little bit on Instagram, I have to admit, and on Facebook. And you have to turn on the microphone. Claudia, you have to. Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah, maybe I need to do some. One participant can share time, multiple participants can. Yeah, but it says you can share. Try it. Maybe disable. Okay, wait. Give me a sec. Maybe I can fix that. How to do that? How to do that? Give me 1 second, guys. I'm so sorry. It's that should be somewhere there. Sharing options. Um, all participants. Yeah, I think now it should work. Mhm. Yeah, it just ideally would be big. I can also see that. I can only see like a very, is it me who is zooming it? Yeah, it's probably me who is doing some wrong stuff. It's like, do you guys see the whole screen or half half? Yeah. Yeah, it would be great. Amazing. And now we can, because now we can see all four faces on stream at least. So we can see you still, Claudia. That's fantastic. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, but nobody does, not necessarily everyone does it there behind the screen. So please, please. Mhm. Is it like, is it usual, Claudia? Is it usual for Australia, or you were like a very special kid? How? Yeah. I mean, we're talking about the Olympic type, or the real shit. Yeah. Mm, fantastic. Yeah, we would really love a tour after, perhaps. When you have a bigger screen on yourself, then it would be really cool to see. Fascinating. Yeah, fantastic. Hmm. Mm. Hmm. Just curious, avatars. Do you mean it's like do you use some kind of motion picture capture device or so it's like a digital avatar then we're talking about. It's not a physical mask. Okay. Wow. Hmm. Wow. Wow. Wait, guys. Claudia, can you just give me a sec? There is apparently some problem. People can hear me but can't hear others. Let me just check what the problem might be. Test about that. That shouldn't be. I can definitely hear you. I don't know why others can't. Um, that is very weird. Um, maybe we try again. I will just ask that person who notified me. Hanna, do you hear us now? Both of us? It's a little delay, obviously, but I don't know. Sometimes it just plugs out. That's a little bit weird. I hope so. Um, Maybe I will just Okay, Hannah says not. Then the problem, I suppose, is this little input, which we will just delete. And what happens now? Maybe if I go off earphones.
Are you streaming to YouTube from OBS?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, then your input should be your. It's not your input as your microphone, but input has to be your computer source. Then
Yeah.
people can hear it.
Yeah, exactly. I was trying to do so, but it was somehow. It says both are active,
Huh?
but what about now, Hannah? Claudia, can you say something? I'm sorry about it, guys, but it's important that we are
No
heard.
worries, no worries. Yeah, there's no point. I'm sorry if you can't hear.
Okay. Well, now we can hear a second person, but yeah, still no Claudia. Why there is no Claudia? Claudia, can you continue, and we will just stop if there is a problem?
Yes. Yeah. Is it that nobody else hears me, or is it just one person?
Yeah. Now she's hearing you. So it was really a problem with my earphones.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry about.
I just thought I keep going.
Yeah.
No worries. It's important that I'm glad she can hear me now. That's good. Where was I? I don't know. I was talking about this this group here, freestyle. Yeah, my first gig with them was at for the Australian Embassy at Venice Biennale, from like the when they have the culture in slug or whatever, which was pretty crazy. And then it's just kind of gone on from there. We mostly are playing in Europe. Have never played in Norway yet, actually. But when we played this Festwashen one, it was curated by, or we were invited by Hyun Ki Ju
Yes.
from, yeah, the Goodest Manager. Really, really kind person, and has been a big supporter. Both of them have been big supporters of our work. I thought I would just show, let's see if we can hear or see this. Yes. Can you hear?
No, we don't get to hear. But maybe you share a link after, and that will be the easiest way of.
Yeah,
sharing.
I'll share a link after.
This sharing videos.
But maybe I can just talk over it. Yeah, this is this little trailer of what we do. This was in a small venue in Vienna. So I'm usually a flyer, so this is usually this kind of person being thrown around. So we've done a lot of research with this, of course. It's taken a long time. We use stunt instruments. This one is not my real violin, don't worry. So anytime we're doing anything like that here, it's a reinforced cello. So it's made for stunts specifically. So I never use my real instrument when I'm doing anything up high. Never. Naturally.
But I mean,
but
you
it's
actually,
a lot of fun, and it's a lot of.
You actually do play.
Sorry?
You make sound being hanged upside down, or.
Yeah. I still play. I mean, and I use mics. It's just that we have, when I do the really so like there's a lot of research. But sorry, there we go.
Yeah, it's perfect. Let it roll. Crazy. It's really fascinating. To see.
Yeah, when I was doing, like, for example, where was it? Like this here, I would just never use my real instruments. But it's still, you can get a good sound out of a medium instrument. If you have a good microphone and a good sound engineer, you can get a long way with good sounds. We use also quite a lot of electronics with our work to help like bring out a larger sounds. We've collaborated with orchestras in Australia, for example, and we've done bigger productions to help create this more luscious sound. But it's a lot of work and a lot of research to do that. So this has been going over the space of I would say like 9 years of research, actually, and figuring out how do you just just it's kind of like memorization. It's like you're learning a new instrument because you're doing multiple things at once. It's a very weird kind of concept. But I do have a lot of experience with gymnastics, so that comes very naturally, and so does violin. So it was putting them together hasn't been too hard, but just there's a lot to think about. Like when even just preparing to go on stage, you have to think about warming up your body and remembering where the notes are, and there's a lot. We don't use music, of course, because that's impossible. Where are we?
That looks very impressive, I have to say, Claudia. This is pretty much as much interdisciplinary you can go.
Oh wait, sorry. Pardon?
Just wanted to say how impressive it looks. This is pretty much as deep interdisciplinary you can go, combining violin with gymnastics. I mean, what else?
So this was live from. I'm not sure if you see this. This is live. I shouldn't be showing you this, but I am. Anyway, this is live on Austrian TV at Festochen. So there's a lot of rain. So when it's like very cold and there's a lot of variables when you're playing a large stage in a big production, and a lot of on big variables. I can flick through a bit, but yeah, I've been doing this for a while and started to get more and more into choreography, maybe not choreography, but how to set things on stage, because you learn a lot by doing this over 9 years, of course. And I started to get a little bit into theater through doing this in a way, because you have to have a certain kind of presence when you're on stage doing this kind of work. But then I had, this is something else I do. I just didn't shoot through because it's a lot. So in 2021, I had a big accident and had like a near-death experience, and I'll go a bit more into it later, but it kind of forced me into working without my hands, without my body, with my brain and my body in a very different way, because I was sick and I couldn't play violin for, 6 months. I broke my arms and had a really bad concussion.
Oh.
And so the natural thing to do was make a computer game opera about death, of course. And that was our first motion capture piece. And it's not really even, it's the most DIY motion capture, because we couldn't afford the proper gear because it costs a lot of money. So at the time, like we really went full on DIY. We had no money, no like plan. We just knew we wanted to make a game opera about death. It's just as a way of like making sense of it all. So these are some pictures from the piece. This is where I started to really get into theater. My first time really being on stage without a violin, and it was a very freeing experience. I sing a lot as well. I'm really into hyperpop. I'm really into digital sounds, electronic music. I can show. Oh wait, you won't see it. It's a shame. But
we'll see.
We control these two avatars in 3D universe via a Kinect. If you've heard of Xbox Kinect before,
yeah,
it's like old school infrared.
Absolute motion capture.
Yeah. About the absolute cheapest way to make this happen. And yeah, it's actually very interesting. We use autotune for the entire opera, which is very anti-classical, right? But we kind of use it in a way to show that like you don't have to be a bad singer to use autotune. You can be a great singer and really use it as like an aesthetic choice. It's very freeing in that, again, like this mask thing, that you become another character, because on your inner ears and your mic here, you can hear only your autotune voice. And then when you're singing that about this existential dread in autotune, and for some reason you can go, I feel personally that I can go deeper into my character that I'm playing on stage by this mask, this autotune mask, which is fascinating. So we made all of this in Unreal Engine, and it runs in Unreal Engine, a gaming engine. If you've ever played Fortnite, I've heard about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it
And
like
there's a lot of gaming references.
Is it like open source, or how do you get access to?
Well, Unreal Engine is free. So anybody can make something inside there. So in a way, kind of open source, but at the same time, the way we use this is not actually an open source piece. I'll show you how the piece works later on. It's a long piece, 2 hours. Yeah, I'll just skip through this. I think I'm blabbing a bit too long, but they're depressed. They want more from life, and they travel to meet this the oracle, and then they die. Of course, because in all great operas, what happens? And so it's actually quite dense. We have a lot of really, it's very heavy to watch. I think,
But you can listen.
I think it's hopeful in the end. Yeah, I think it's hopeful. It might seem a bit scary, but I think it's a bit hopeful. I mean, we were just trying to make sense of everything. I think after I had this accident, it really shifted the way I perceive art. Yeah, so it was full on, and it happened in England, Nottingham.
Did you fall from height, or?
Yeah, I fell from 3. I was in acrobatics, like a creation for a new piece, and I fell 3 meters onto the stage floor.
That's horrible.
Yeah, so I got really, really lucky. It could have gone really, really bad, so I'm very, very fortunate. Yeah, so that was a lot of research into near death and philosophy, existential thoughts. So these questions are a big part of everything I do, actually. So even though I'm going deep on afterlife right now, it's just, it's really kind of at the core of my creative output in the future, and all the things we're making now is what is life? Where are we? Where are we going? All of these kind of, this is what we use. Yes, this is Xbox Connect.
That seemed to be affordable. That's great.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the other version, like the Rococo, which we might buy maybe this year, that's about 100,000 for now.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of money, and you can get 150 XR Studio, 150 euro XR Studio. That's actually insane. You just have to be kind of crazy because it's a lot of work. I mean, when you're programming something for the first time in this kind of sphere, it's just a lot of work. So we're really, really grateful.
But so you had to do, did you do all the programming for the visuals, or?
I'm not a programmer, but I've learned a lot about Unreal Engine now and motion capture. We're using now an AI system. We're trying this out. So for the piece tonight, we're sending it out to America, and then it will come back. It's called radical motion. You have to pay for that as you go, but yeah, I think I spoke a little bit about this. And I think that's something long term we really want to go into, actually just creating operas and directing our own operas. That's maybe feels like a crazy idea, but large scale. That's
not at all at the time.
But that's a goal.
Everybody's talking about AI and how to use it. We had a lot of talks about already in this setting. So
really?
It seemed totally logical, and that's just the next step. So basically, what you're doing, you're doing a full opera, just you and your partner in Just Slime. Is that true?
Yeah. So that was our first piece, and we got luckily booked to Black Box Theatre here, and then straight after that, we were
Is that in Trondheim or
booked.
this?
No, this is in Oslo.
This is
Actually, it's
Oslo,
an
okay.
independent or a state-run independent theater in Oslo, and they book a lot of really, really, really great stuff. So we're really fortunate to have our first piece there, and we're just nominated for Composition of the Year, which is weird, but
Wow.
from Kompaningsforeningen, which is cool because it's a really out there piece for I don't know, contemporary music. It's pretty out there. So this is just some pictures from there. I mean, I could go more into this, but I think that there's a lot. I have.
But
Where
what about the
are
music
we?
there? Is it like composed? What kind of?
Yeah, yeah, we composed everything, and you see here the first picture on the left.
Mm-hmm.
That's I'm not sure if you know Ableton, but Ableton Live here is running the entire show, and it's really, really heavy piece inside Ableton, and it's run inside Max MSP, which is the picture on the right, all the way to the right, which is controlling the lights, and it's all running through. They're all connected through the game engine as well. So it's like the heavy tech setup. Actually,
so the music is electronic. Do I understand correctly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would say. I mean, we couldn't obviously afford to have a choir. Like we have choirs there. We have like huge productions, but yeah, that's the big money thing.
Yeah. But then you kind of
yeah.
integrate it into your kind of script, electronic script, if I can say so.
Yeah, and so like all of our text is sung, and we have subtitles synced in there, which it's very, very heavily scripted and composed. Everything is super composed in this piece, which has both positive and negative. I do also really appreciate work. I really appreciate work that is very free as well. There is a lot of value in having freedom inside a lot of structure. That's something I'm working a bit more with this year. It's just I have so many pictures. Sorry. But yeah, now this piece kind of set the stage for going to where we are going now. And I mean, we were booked for Colombia with another piece of ours. I can send all of these links later on.
Yeah,
sure. It was commissioned by Nico 3. It's a Danish new music ensemble based in Copenhagen, and we performed in Colombia at a digital art festival there. So random. We went there really on a whim, and then not sure if it was how legit it was. We were just invited, and then it really worked out. And this community inside digital theater realm is slowly growing, and we have met some people there that we met in Outback Australia now a few months ago, and now there's some other people from that same place. They're playing here tonight in our stage, doing an insane dance, interdisciplinary tech piece. They're in Europe right now performing at CTM Festival, but we luckily got to have them here, so they're setting up right now in the other room. Yeah, so it's this is Black Magic. I'll send it to you later on. And now this is where I'm at now. So sorry, just skipping through a bit, and there's a lot.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of things going on simultaneously that are finally, honestly, it's only now that things are manifesting in the right direction. It's been a lot of friction before, especially coming from, I guess maybe a lot of you get this, if you start to go away from the classical lineage, it's not that you're necessarily bullied or anything, but it's kind of like this unease. Like I have felt a bit of unease before in my career, but now everything has changed. I don't know why, but it's timing. I don't know. But yeah, we're here now working with all of these great people in this picture. The lady on the right here is Shasti Horn. She's the person that initiated this whole thing, and she's a new theater director here of the whole theater. And we're working closely with Hani and On the Slams UCF. We have a great cast of just some of the most actually really individuat, like under what's the word? Underappreciated, underestimated, sorry, actors and artists and people working with dance or music. So we just have this crazy opportunity to create insane work. So you see this piece here now, like it's just like kind of a joke poster or whatever, but it's an example of one of the pieces we're doing where Toma, this guy here, who's actually a UX designer, he's also an actor. We've employed him for 3 months and he's coming in soon. But he'll be abducted by Ninosk autistic aliens or aliens that represent something other. And he will save the world because he's ordinary and they want to become ordinary. They want to be like Toma. Yeah, and there's just a lot of crazy stories and crazy opportunities that we're doing this year. We're doing a big collaboration with Ultima Festival, if you know Ultima, in Oslo. Commissioned for one of our pieces called Dragon Blood, and we'll be bringing in some of these digital theater people from America in, and they're pretty big. So that's super exciting for us to bring in like this international, interdisciplinary edge into the theater here. Hopefully freestyle orchestra as well will come in during that period. I mean, we have a lot of influence of like anime, game, the weird, the other, and we're just trying to create this space where actually this space here, one I'm sitting in now with like the pinball machine, it doesn't work, but we're super excited by it. Like just having a space in Oslo that feels like it's for people that feel outside. We're going to have so many events. Maybe we could even have another NordSync event here in real life. I don't know. Let's see. I mean, we can do anything we like, essentially. I mean, we just got a stage to create, have club, have concerts, and it means like theater. So we're doing 12 new pieces, which is kind of nuts, I know. And this is just one of them. We're going to have like, what's this here? Yeah, there's a website, go to sanitra.no. It's super interesting. Tanya's made it, the website, and you can really explore we're going to have a trading card game. It's coming out in February. So you can play it like Pokemon.
Wow.
I don't know. Let's see how it goes. We'll probably, fingers crossed, we're not going to burn out. Like that, it's a lot of work. So we're just trying to keep. The biggest challenge, I think, going forward is keeping our heads cool and having enough time having time off. Like that's something I'm really, really learning and unlearning. Working hard and then going home and sleeping. You know what I mean? Like it's a hard challenge when there's so much work to do.
Does look
these guys here
sound like lots of work. I just wanted to ask you if you already had performances in the Norske Teatret in Oslo.
We had a premiere on 2 days ago.
2 days ago. And how many are planned? How many performances are planned?
I think there's like 166 or something. It's a lot.
160.
But that's everything in total. But this piece itself will run until the 7th of February.
Okay.
And we'll do a series of like Gjestespill, like Afterlife, the game opera. We will perform that on the 14th or 13th of February. That's the next one. So we'll do that one here as well. And then it's not until March that we start the new pieces because they need a bit more time because they are going to be even bigger, even grander, I don't know. There's, exciting.
160, is it like a year program or 2-year program or 160 performances?
It's 1 year. So we have the schedule for a year now.
That's fantastic.
And we're trying to change up how of course, how you experience theater and art in general. So we're trying to make it as interdisciplinary as possible and bringing in, we're super open for concepts. If people have ideas for things that they want to look and see if we can fit it in, just send me a message. But we just want to have more open space for dialogue and community, because sometimes it feels a bit cold in this world.
So you're not only producing your own things there on the stage, but you're also curating, and you are inviting other people to your space.
Yeah, absolutely. For example, this picture on this one here now, this is a piece called Stack by some friends in Australia. They're here right now, setting up, and they'll perform tonight before our piece. I think there's like 4 or 5 tickets left online if somebody wants to go. And they're in Oslo. But this is a very intense piece. Really looking forward to see it. But yeah.
I can see that Emil has something to ask. Sure.
Yeah, go.
No, not really. I just want to ask if I could have a ticket.
Oh, I'll see what I can do.
Those questions you can write. That's lovely. But I guess we all would like to have a ticket. Wanted to ask you, since we a big part of why we have those meetings in NordSync is, and one of the goals we started all this thing and those discussions is actually a reach. It feels and it looks like that your main appeal is to the younger audiences. How does your audience look like? How young is your audience?
Interesting, yeah. I think we're trying to figure that out. I mean, we haven't been here long enough, but I can say in the first night, it was quite a young audience. But there were older people there as well. It was a bit mixed. It's a bit hard to say because we're still a bit like, oh, who's actually going to turn up to this? You know, is it only going to be for like TikTok vibes, you know, or we don't want it to be like that. We want it to be a place where people feel welcome. So and in general, I guess theater is a bit similar to music in that sense that the audiences are often a little bit older or privileged with a lot of money. Maybe not necessarily a lot of money, but able to afford the ticket. So that's something we think about a lot in how we even make the ticket prices. You know, we've had a lot of discussions about that because, you know, we still live in a capitalist world. We need to keep this stage afloat. The reason they're bringing us in is because theater is similar to music, is struggling with audience, and I think the whole world is struggling with culture.
Right,
That's
right.
Yeah.
There is a certain crisis in that, and I believe that productions as yours are actually the way to close the gap in between. As you said, older generation of people who are having money, and maybe a bit younger generation who doesn't necessarily yet earn this money. But can you tell us? Can you tell us what's the?
Just before you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, like, it's not that we want to, like, oh, just young people. You know, I would make me so sad if like somebody older didn't feel welcome here because it's too young. You know, that's not a win either.
No,
it's hard to get everyone, of course.
But it's like one of our previous guests said that the goal maybe is to attract youngers so that they get older with the theater and they stay in the theater. And that maybe this is the way to approach the problem, because it's very hard to get 50-year-olds in the theater if they have never been there before. It's much easier to start earlier, and then they get older with you.
Absolutely. I mean, we have we've had some big discussions even about young people coming to theater for the first time, and if they see a naked body on stage, because we have a naked body at some point, because Toby ascends into the digital realms it's a little bit Matrix reference, but we had a big discussion about like, do you win audience or lose audience by having nakedness on stage? Especially for first-time theater people. Yeah, it's hard to say.
So you didn't come to any conclusion, or?
I think for us, we came to the conclusion that we kept the nakedness for this one scene because it served the story. And I think you have to serve the art first.
Yeah.
And whether it resonates with somebody or not afterwards is something else. But we do think about this accessibility in that way as well. But it's hard. I mean, you can't, then if you compromise everything, then you're also compromising the art. So, and it's less pure to the artist. Anyway, sorry, blabbering on. So if anyone has any questions.
Yes, guys, please.
No, I just want to say that I relate a lot of your presentation was amazing. I can relate a lot of things to your presentation because I'm a gamer myself. I love tech.
Ooh.
If I didn't choose to become a violinist when my father asked me to choose, I would have been a computer engineer by now. You know, coding and do computer stuff. So I totally relate. And I think Axolotl and Godzilla is crazy, but I loved it. It's out there. You know, like it's out there.
It is out there. Yeah.
But I want to ask, come to the further back where you still have the acrobatics orchestra and playing. Like, how does it work? Do you compose, for example, like it's on like the background. You still have music, right? You play, of course, you play live on stage with microphone, but you have to find a way to kind of compose stuff so it became so it can become like a piece, right? So like you have background music and then you play on top of it because there's some
It's actually quite fascinating because it's actually very composition. The whole thing is very composition based because if you have somebody flying, you have to change your part around. And I've been playing first violin and second violin on different parts before just because I have to help somebody else out that's swapping around. So you have to, it's kind of like you just have to know all the parts, which makes it very confusing if you're doing something very we did a piece by it's called Maninias. It's a violin concerto by Australian composer. I forget his name right now. But that was a lot of, it's kind of like a schedule. If you think of like trying to get everybody's schedules together, it's just like a jigsaw puzzle. You're just trying to figure out where does this go? Where can you go here? How? Yeah, and that's where like bringing in other musicians. We have some people that will just play all the time now, just to help us out in those sequencing because it's a hard job.
It is. There's no way around it. It looks complicated. And it sounds complicated. It looks complicated, and I'm sure it's a lot of work to put in. But then, do you still do a bit of that right now, or after the accident, you transition to the theater now?
Yeah, no. I mean, Festwashen, like the video in the rain at Wiener Festwashen. That was my first gig after the accident. Actually. Right. So that was in 2023, and that. We've had quite a few gigs. It's gone really well the last 2 years now. But I think for this year, I told them it's just the way it is. I just have very little time. So I'm a bit in the air about whether they're doing a big Edinburgh Fringe stint for a month or so there. I'm not sure if I can do that one, but it's for a new production. So but they are still running now the acrobatic orchestra. They're still going. Still going. Yeah. It's just I might be for the next 6 months. I just don't know where I'm at for the next 6 months. I just have to get used to my new schedule and see how much leeway I have.
But I mean, just Unreal Engine alone can consume your whole day. I mean, I know.
Oh, come on, yeah. And there's so many. There's always. It's actually speaking of a different kind of thing to juggle is tech, and when you're working with tech in rehearsal situations, actors need to practice acting, including me. I need to practice being inside my character and feeling out the piece. And if we're constantly fixing tech, it can kind of get you out, but you also need the tech to be able to relax and actually do the work. So it's a juggling act for sure.
Absolutely. So how many people are in your team now? I mean, for 166 concerts per year, like how many people are in your team?
Actually, I mean, Norske Teater is a really big institution, I guess. So I think there's about 200 people working here. We have 2 tech people, Mari and Owen, shout out, they're amazing. We have kind of like a producer, like our mother in a way, Hedda. She helps us out a lot. Just communication with inside the house.
Right.
I mean, they have scenography people, they have costume people, but we don't have access to that because we're like on the small stage.
Right.
But they really like us, I think. I'm not sure. They help us out a bit. So they have this big, like, when it comes to costumes and like things like scenography, they just have a big storage here. So there is a lot of great, interesting stuff. I mean, like here I'm on the crab table, which is the part of the bar because they're trying to make this club thing going on. But when it comes to practicalities, it's me, Toby, and Tani. So Tani and only Slime. Three people.
Three people. Yeah. Okay, that's a lot. That's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. Very little people.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what would you do if you had? The thing is, it's like we've thought about this a lot. Like, what would you do if you had a 1 year on something like this? You would go full. I would go full out. Like, I would take this opportunity.
Absolutely.
It's such a privilege, and that's why I was sharing it, trying to share it as much as we can, because it's just such a privilege to be able to be in this kind of space, and it feels wrong to not share it with everyone else.
Could we ask you about a little bit of backgrounds of your other team members? What do they do? What they have as their major? Because you are a violinist / musician / acrobatist.
So Tony comes from theater background. He studied at KIO, I guess, and has worked in institutions and worked on his own pieces. He received a Hedda Prize for
Or you wanted it? I just thought it's fun to see us four. Do you want to?
Great. Thank you. No, thank you. I just was confused.
Sorry.
Yeah. It's much easier now. I can see you. He works with theater and works with a lot of free kind of theater. He really is into improvised work in a way. And we use a lot of like our own stories in how we relate to characters. I find it very hard to decipher between reality and acting, maybe probably my autistic side. So when I'm inside a character, I really kind of become that thing for that moment. But I'm still very new to acting, so I'm learning as I'm going through. Yeah, learning by doing. We have some actors that are like have been in the free acting world. A lot of them have been on TV. We have Thea Sophia Lochnas in the fall. She's quite well known. She's now at Sundance Festival for a new film. Everyone's super talented. Some people are dancers. Mariama coming in a few months. In March, she's actually a dancer, but she's also a great actor. So,
but if we're talking about the motion capture operas production, because what I'm curious about is that it really requires a lot of like this tech understanding, some understanding in programming and how the science behind it all works.
Sorry, so I forgot to say it. Toby, my partner, has a background Toby studied in Copenhagen in the rhythmic jazz, doing guitar, toured with noise for a while, eventually went to composition, studied composition in Hamburg with Alexander Schubert at multimedia composition, which is really a fantastic program and great people there, recommend. So Toby knows a lot about tech. Toby is very, very good with tech. So Toby is the tech.
Our friends.
The tech dev. The tech dev. It all comes from Toby. Toby can like program lights, sync it to Ableton, makes my mouth move in Unreal Engine from my microphone, like through Max through Unreal. Yeah, it's there's a lot that Toby could talk about, actually, maybe relevant at some points for y'all to hear about that. But yeah, they're also just really into gaming, also into technology, into this digital aesthetic, otherness.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. I mean, being there, tried a couple of times myself, it's super tricky, and you want some very simple thing on the screen, and it might take like a week for you to find out how to do it. Therefore, I'm very curious if there are people in your team who actually spend the early years of their lives learning those things, because I think that might be the case. But it's very interesting to hear that the tech people are also having music as their first. That's
it's fascinating, right? I think there's a lot of overlap as well with going from gaming. If you're into games, it's not that big of an overlap. If you have the willpower, you can. I think you can learn anything, you know.
Right.
And all of these programs are free. Blender is free. Unreal Engine is free. It's just, time.
I mean, we could talk really days here. It's so interesting to hear more about it. We sort of need to, at some point, though, to switch and go further. If you guys don't have any questions, I have one final one, which I really want to address here. Yeah? Okay, I go with it then. It's just that very many people who are watching to us, who are listening to us, many people I met on our live event in August when we had our first session with NordSync. We are all musicians, and it's like a little bit of problem of nowadays musicians, that we are all, made in the conservatories, high schools, and therefore we are sort of all, in a way, sorted in certain boxes. Like me, myself, I'm a classically trained violinist, and I spend and you are too, right, Claudia? You're also, you have a bachelor or master's in violin?
Yeah,
Is it
master's.
so? Right. So it's like and even jazz musicians nowadays, I've heard a lot of critics about the modern jazz, because jazz is not supposed to be taught, kind of, in the classical institution way. And it's sort of a little bit of problem how I experience it nowadays when it comes to like a pure art, which you seem to be doing right now. So my question to you is, being from that very same system where you are trained in a certain box for so long, how and when did you feel an urge to get out, to bridge the border, as you wrote in one of the posts, to break out? When did this urge appear in you?
When did it happen? I think it was always there. I think I was always searching. I just didn't have the vocabulary at the time to realize, like, oh, that's why. But I had a conversation this morning with one of the Australian artists who used to be a ballet dancer, professional ballet dancer, and now he's doing insane, crazy stuff. And he said to me, and it really resonated, it's a series of wrong decisions over a long time. And it's like, it's not necessarily wrong decisions, but it's like a lot of this, like, just veering a little bit off the track here, a little bit off the track here, and you just keep doing that, and step by step. Now I'm here at Norske Teatret. Jeg snakker nynorsk. Like, and I don't know how I'm trying to figure out how I got here and why, but I think it's a longing for more.
Yeah. Also wanted to ask you, have you ever been afraid of taking those little steps a little bit away?
No.
Because I think for very many people,
so.
it is kind of the limiting thing. Because once you are on track as a classical musician, I just know a lot of people who are like that. You play auditions, you try for a while, and you're kind of on that track, and you're very stressed of trying other things. I know it by my own experience as well. So what could you recommend to these people?
I don't think just go, just try something new. I mean, I think if I think too much about something that's super scary, it doesn't happen. And I think it's not that it doesn't happen, it's just like, I think the more time I just throw myself, it's like jumping into like freezing cold water. You have to do it. If you think about it too much, you're gonna be super scared and like, oh my God, I'm freezing, blah, blah, blah. But jumping in, once you're in there, it's fine. Like, yeah, sure, you're cold. We can go back into the sauna, like, I'm not sure. I think just jumping straight in is that's the only thing I can recommend. And trusting your gut. If your gut says,
Try it.
trust your intuition, you know? If you feel like something is pulling you in a direction, just take it, you know? Even if it's crazy, quit your job. I don't know, if you want to quit your job, don't quit your job. Do what you need to do. Stay sane, have food on the plate. But like, if you really want to quit your job and it's not working out for you and you want to move forward, make a plan, you know? Think 2 years ahead. Like, where do I want to be? Like, I really did that with myself. Like, I really believe in manifestation and writing things down.
Yeah, but so
All
not,
those
not
cringe
quite
magic
just jumping in the cold water. Still a little bit of pre-planning, right?
Yeah,
So
a
you
bit of
put
both.
something on,
Yeah,
some kind
a
of
bit of
vest.
play, yeah.
If
I
you
think it's
can.
a combination of everything, you know? Yeah.
The balance is the trick.
But, yeah.
Good to hear about balance from somebody who does acrobatics professionally.
Mm.
I think we all should be acrobatists in the beginning. That would be a great motto. Thank you so much, Claudia.
Yeah,
I
thank
hope you can
you.
stay with us because now we're moving to me
Yeah, I can.
and Emil, and we're
Yeah.
going to listen to your guys'
Looking
story.
forward to hearing.
Yeah. So there you go. Min and Emil, I don't know how you split this.
Okay,
thing.
where do you want me to start?
I wanted to start with what's the time now in Vietnam where you are?
Well, it's 10 past 5 p.m. in Vietnam right now. We are GMT +7, and it's very close to Lunar New Year. So right after this seminar, me and my family will just travel to my hometown and do, a lot of holiday stuff there. Being a family guy now, just back and forth, both family, try to do what very tradition.
Balancing,
So
yeah.
this is just it's like your Christmas and New Year's. We celebrate kind of, a fake Christmas in a way.
Okay.
We do celebrate Christmas. We do Christmas tree decorations, and we say Happy New Year when the calendar moved to 1st of January. But our real holiday is this Lunar New Year, which happened based on the lunar calendar, which, it goes alongside the normal calendar, but, slightly different every year. So you never know.
It's a
So you
different
have
date.
to plan ahead to see, when is the new lunar New Year. But it's a big holiday in Asia, not only in Vietnam. It's China, Vietnam, many other countries around that we celebrate. This is the main event. So this is what I'm doing now, but great to be here. When we first talked, and I could enjoy the last one, I'm sorry, but this one for sure. So
Thank
we are
you
here
so
now.
much. We are so happy to have you, Min, and it's fantastic to
Yes.
see you again. Also, as I mentioned, we did meet for a couple of times in Oslo when you
Yes,
were in Baradero,
yes, yes.
and I was in NMH. We didn't have so much crossing somehow. They really should do something about collaboration between two schools. Not seeing each other. Claudia, did you go in Bergen, the bachelor's, or
In Australia.
in Australia? Okay, so you moved
Yeah.
after.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, anyways, I think KMH and NMH and Baradero should have more projects together.
Yes,
That would have been real fun.
absolutely.
Yes, but let's maybe move to your project. I saw
Alright,
again, I'm stalking you a little bit. I have to say it looks fantastic. I don't know if you're able to share
Yes,
it.
I also have I prepared something that I can share on the screen when the time comes. But I think to be able to fully explain, I think I should just tell a little bit about me, growing up, learning violin and a bit, because it's different than you guys when you study in Europe and or like Northern Europe or Russia, for example, where classical music is something part of the history. In Vietnam, we learned, we are a developing country. We learn a lot from other countries and try to develop ourselves day by day. So I started the violin when I was 7. We had the National Academy of Music in Vietnam. Most of the professor, now I am a teacher, a professor, but like the generation above, they study in Russia, they study in Hungary, Bulgaria, this Russian style system. And the string department, the piano string department, woodwind, brass, we follow the structure, the study structure from the Russian school. So we studied music there at the academy from when we were very young. So in my time, we start when we were 6, 7 years old until we go to college, and then you can study abroad or you study there at the academy. We teach range until past master degree. So it's like a long teaching plan, you know, like it's a big system. So I studied there when I was 7, and then I was a pretty ordinary violinist. I mean, I was a very quick to learn type of student. I won some competition here and there, but then in 2006-7, me and my friends, we create this orchestra called the Rhapsodies Philharmony, where we have like, it's just us students together. It's like a student orchestra. We have a full classical orchestra. We have a team of composed student, you know, like composers, student who arrange songs, pieces for us. You know, we play pop music. We play, you know, 2006, 2007, where dubstep and stuff start to rose. Yeah, it's good time. I know. So we do a lot of stuff, and we had Firestorm band. I still remember the faces. They are like the biggest rock band in like the young rock band in Vietnam. And then we had it running. We had the orchestra running. We net some gigs. It was a wild dreams, you know, for students. And it's like the first in Vietnam where suddenly have like an orchestra that play. We have a DJ, which is now a very well-known DJ producer music producer in Vietnam. But he was a student with me back then. So like we had a DJ, a rock band, full symphony orchestra, a team of composing students who arranged stuff for us, and we had like a management team who organized stuff and, you know, get sponsored and things. So it's like a very good ecosystem running. We had it run for quite some time until 2009, and then things start to fall apart because of the, you know, management team. They spread into 2 teams, you know, things happen. And then I went to Norway to study from 2010. And then I haven't been joining them since then. And when I returned, they already disbanded because, you know, a lot of stuff happened, you know, things change, the artistic scene in Vietnam changed, also different stuff happened. So very sad about it. We tried to bring it back sometime in 2018, but it's not happening because, you know, all of the old members are older. We are now have a stable job. You know, there's ain't no time to, you know, what do you say? You know, to pour our time into something like invest our time into something that like, you know, start something new that they didn't want. I wanted to, but many, like we couldn't have the team back together, and there's no point because it's hard to do something at that scale in 2017 with no ecosystem running. But why I bring that up, because in 2006, me, my good friend, and another, you know, older violinist, we were the only 3 that tried to play pop music and something on the violin. And it's something that at the Academy of is banned. Like all the professor will say you should not do it because well, later on when I go to Norway, I learned the word crossover. In Vietnam, we don't have that word, but you know, yeah. You all smiling, you know what's up. So basically, all the professors said that, you know, if you play pop music, you ruin your hands, you ruin your tone, your violin, you cannot play classical anymore if you dip into that water. And well, I couldn't care much about it, you know, like I was one of the top students that, well, when I came to Norway, that's proved to be not very true. I was just very normal, and then I worked my way up. But in Vietnam, I was quite okay back then, you know, with several competitions and stuff. So we just kept doing it. And then I came to Norway in 2010. I remember 2014, 15, things started to change in Vietnam. Many violinists couldn't get a job after they graduate because, you know, classical music in Vietnam is not a developed scene. You know, none of the music.
But you have symphony orchestras, right? Do you have orchestras?
Yes, of course. We had orchestra. The National Symphony Orchestra had been running after the war since 1975. You know, like at the Academy also, you know, after the American War, we had Academy. We had classical music running, but it was never until now. I mean,
Yeah.
even until now, it was never a big part of the culture, like in Europe or in Norway, like Russia, Austria, even in Norway, like classical music is something big, you know.
Yeah.
That is the job. Like you study music, you get a job. It's a dream job for many people. In Vietnam, it's like until now, it's not very sure. After you graduate, what will you do? You know, so many people start to find a way to cross over or do different things. But then in 2016, things start to change. Many people start to play, violinists start to play in a band at the cafe. You know, it's good money. They start to like this kind of concept of music. You go to the cafe with friends, you listen to live band playing, and usually a singer, violinist. And then many vocalists now performing on stage required a string orchestra. And many professors who before said that you should not play pop music now play pop music in those orchestra because it's good money. You know, it's just how things change, which I'm happy to hear. My journey in Norway was quite eventful. I think Norway changed me a lot. I came there. I played some concert. People like it because I don't think people think that violinists in Vietnam like they know Vietnam. Like you guys know about Vietnam, but you don't know like we actually have classical music and one people can play okay, you know, like, and then I play difficult stuff. I play fast stuff, and then I go like with kind of all the pop rock experience from Rhapsody Philharmonic. So I was there. People loved it. I played in Valres Summer Symphony for 2 years. I studied master class with Stefan Baradir, which after that became my professor. I just love in Norway because it's a very different way of teaching music. You know what I mean? The Russian style in Vietnam, it was very. It's like I play like this. You should play like this. It's like copy paste of your professor.
Yeah, I get you.
without knowing exactly why you should do it. And I was like always the one who tried to find how to do it before I can actually do it. You know what I mean? It's I can copy it, but then to a certain point, it lost in the process. It's harder to when you start to play more difficult stuff and you don't understand how you do it, and then you just fall apart. So when I came to Norway, that was good. And then you can ask Emil here, like we met in my 3rd year of bachelor. I was a normal one. And on the side, I also a bit odd one because at Norabakken, our practice building at Baratua, sometimes you will see me playing something totally not classical music out of the room. And then people say, haha, some jazz here and there. Certainly some dubstep violins and some stuff. People, haha, why are you practicing that? I like it. I don't know. And then after the bachelor to master, we got to choose our project, right? Our theme for the master degree. Then I choose versatile violin as a versatile violinist because for me, an ideal type of violinist is the one who can convince audience whatever type of music you play, right? Yeah. If they ask you to play a pop music on violin, you convince them that you play it well, then you're success. So this is just me. It's not applied for everyone. It's just me. So I choose versatile violinist, and I think after Alexander Rybak, I was the first one to do half jazz concert and half classical as my master exam. I still remember that. It was a good experience. I brought a band into Kammerschalen at Baratua, and people were surprised. I remember Stefan Baratua. He told me that he was worried. He was worried that I will become crossover, that I will change the way I play, and he was worried because it's my master degree, and if I decide to do jazz, he cannot help. I really understand from his side, because he's not experienced in that thing. But then I told him to just, I will do it, and I decided, and it went well, and it was, that was 9-10 years ago already. Time flies very fast. So after that, I worked for half a year more Yes. So after that, I auditioned to many orchestra because, I'm still a classical violinist. I want to do classical. Like part of me is the normal one, and part of me is the odd one. The odd one is like I want to show that I can do what people say that I cannot do. Basically, they said that you shouldn't be crossover. Like, if you crossover, you cannot play classical. I want to prove them wrong. I want to prove that I can still play different stuff, but I can still very good in classical music. That was the main idea that drive me. And I think working in Norway could help me gain some, first of all, money and also experience, because you're a developed country. So when I go back to Vietnam, I can actually have something to start with. But then things were not. I had jobs. I earned money okay. I lived okay. So, and my parents were happy about it. But then I really want to go home at that point. That was late 2016, early 2017, because I want to do, that odd part of me want to do projects. I want to do projects. I want to do something with my friends. And that's when all of my friends now they have a job, they have family, they graduate, they don't want to do stuff. And so they were afraid of that's a little bit of Norwegian, like they are very secure. Like you are developed, you are secure. So I want to do something and I had no one to do it with me. So I became so I went on a cycle that, you work all day teaching, performing, and then in the evening you play games until 1, 2 a.m. because of this revenge psychology of, you work so hard that you have to do something to balance it. And then you wake up early and then you need coffee and then you smoke to stay awake, and then you repeat again and again and again. And after a while, it's become too much. After that, I quit smoking and coffee until now. That's more than 10 years already. And then I just really want to go home, because at that point, that's 2016, 17, where Vietnam changed. People start to want to do projects, and they want to invite people who have experience to work with them. So now I have two choices, right? In Vietnam, people say, "Hey, man, come back, do project with us. We need you. When are you why are you not going back?" And in Norway, it's like, and in Vietnam, it's like, "Hey, come back." So which one will you choose, right? I also had a very childish thought that, if you convert 1 kroner to 1,000 Vietnamese dong, which is like a currency in Vietnam, like if you convert 1 on 1, then the salary, in my level in Vietnam, the salary should be the same, or I could earn more. As a, per living expenses in Vietnam, then I could earn more in Vietnam, and I got to stay with my family. I got to get married, stay with my girlfriend. I got to go out with friends, have coffee in the evening, having store not closed at 6 p.m. Come on, I can buy beer at 11 p.m. if I want to. Come on, that's the life that I miss. So
that was the main thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the main thing in Vietnam. You know it.
I understand you there.
Yeah. So the only thing that was against me was my parents, because they thought that life in Norway is perfect. Why should go back to a developing country when you are already in a developed country? You can drink water from the faucet. I said, drinking water from the faucet doesn't make me happy, Mom. I want to go home. So yeah, despite their will against mine, I decided to go home anyway. So I traveled back home in April 2017, and the academy invited me to teach there since the next school year, which is in September. And immediately I went back and I tried to create this trio just to play gigs, play modern stuff. So violin, cello, and harp. I found people. We actually practiced. We had one recording of a very traditional Vietnamese tune mixed with dubstep. I can send it to you guys after that. It's a poor quality. It's just like a draft, but it's convey what we kind of plan to do. And I was very invested into that. It's like the first thing I did in Vietnam, right? I tried to do something. I made a plan. I do everything. And then I realized that the other two were not so invested like me, and I cannot, if it's a trio, if it's a team, then we have to do it together. I cannot do it after like 3 months or so. It became too much, and then we scrap it off. And after that, from time to time, I join, I advise some projects. I join, I try to create some, but it's like go up and down. But there was one that the one that I'm talking to you guys, want to introduce to you guys right now, that I've been trying to do since the very beginning. In Norway, in 2015, I got a chance to play, and then I got a chance to see a concert from Yellow Lounge. They are, you probably know Yellow Lounge. Yeah, they are the new one. Classical music, modern stage. You have
You
your
have
glass
to
of
tell
wine
me,
at hand.
I mean, because I'm not aware of the Yellow Lounge. Maybe I was like totally lost somewhere in the flesh scales or whatever.
It was not very big, but I mean, they invite a lot of well-known musicians, even in Norway, to play in Yellow Lounge. But they play in pub, they play in bars, with people. In Norway, those two, one I played also in pub, and the one I went to see also at the pub. So it's not like a big stage or anything.
Okay.
But their motto is like combining modern experience with classical music, and and that's what they do. They also play DJ. They also just want for people to have a good time. That was like, I think that was a great idea. And then I went home, and then I want to do something like that in Vietnam, because I think that way, I can introduce classical music to others. It's easier because, people, common audience in Vietnam, they're not used to go to classical music concert. But that was the beginning. It was hard because I had nothing, basically nothing. And then COVID happened, right? COVID happened. And after COVID, I realized one more thing, that now the audience, I think this relates a little bit about what Claudia said. Maybe you're aware of it or you're not aware of it, but after COVID, people change. It's like some people pass away for sure, but the one who stay, you kind of died a bit inside. Some part of you died. You change. I mean, people change. I went to Norway 2 years ago in the summer just to pay off my Lånekassen. And then I see people change. People in Norway who said that, I'm not going to be crossover. I'm not playing any pop music. And now they play pop music. Just the same. Same in Vietnam in 2016. They're doing it now. It's just the way the industry, moving forward. I mean, there's no barrier, no boundary between genre. I mean, what Claudia does and what I'm doing now it's the same. Almost the same. The method will be different, but I think our will from ourselves is the same. So after COVID, I realized that normally people go to concert to listen and see, right? That's what they. But after COVID, they want to feel, experience. That's more experience something. They want to be a part of the show. They don't want just to be an audience to sit and then, good music. Oh, Ray Chan, yes. No, they want to be like involved. It's like, I got handshake with Ray Chan, or I sit right behind him. Oh, that's that kind of thing. So that's why, this concept of candlelight concert series, this candlelight concept that happened, I think that is okay. It made people feel special, I mean, instead of stage light, you have candlelight around and you feel like a messiah every time you listen to classical music. That concept has been widely integrated or performed in many countries, even in Asia. In Vietnam, they try to do it too. Tickets sell very fast.
Yeah, I was fascinated.
Yeah.
I was first asked to do it right before Christmas this year, first time ever. That is quite, I mean, I love the genre. And I don't know if it's in normal setting, but we got to sit like in the middle of a church. So it was like sort of an octagonal stage, or it was a square stage. It was super cool with all the lights.
Exactly.
And you really feel like a spotlight. And then the audience who actually comes and it's, I mean, it's exactly what you said. It's an attempt to get an experience rather than to listen to music.
Exactly.
It's also a very different type of audience that comes to those concerts as well. which is interesting, very interesting to observe.
Have you been to one? Is there like a lot of younger people at these concerts, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
Right?
since it's quite a phenomenon. Also, if
Amazing.
you think of it like a business perspective, it's a franchise.
Yeah.
So the mother company, I think they're sitting somewhere in Barcelona, in Spain. They are providing you with a set of music, like it's notes, and they provide all the instructions for the company, who sets the stage, sells the drinks, and everything. It's a very interesting model, and it's working. It would be really interesting to see some statistics on what happens to this audience after, if they stick only to those concerts, because I would imagine that after listening to 2 hours of Queen, they might be ready for 45 minutes of Greek.
Maybe for real.
Yeah. So that's what I noticed. That candlelight was something that I feel like, this is the time. This might be the time to kickstart my project again. And then I asked, my brother. So just a little bit background before we move on. My brother, he's the main programmer, visual designer for my projects. He's and his company Fustic. He is also a world champion beatboxer. Well, so he had a little bit. He just learned it himself. A little bit of background. But he and his company has a lot of stuff. Yeah, maybe I share some of their work to you. Yes. Can you see my screen?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right, I just refresh so we run from. So this is their website. I can send it to you.
Yeah.
So this is some of their work in Vietnam, and this is my brother doing beatboxing. This is their most famous work called Voice Jam. They with 15 seconds of your voice, they program the computer to generate a jam. That's for you. So the color, the shape, everything. This is their. This is a program thing. So they have been doing a lot of works for different artists. They work with The Weeknd, Billie Eilish, and this is like their most famous project. They had the presentation in London for many times, and soon they have this Victoria and Albert. I think that's the museum. That's the big one in London. Soon, I mean, in February they will have the first the new exhibition there. So they have this. In here you can read. This is Voice Jam 1,000 Year Archive. This is the voice of famous people in the span of history made into jam. It's fascinating, and because they have such an open-minded. So I really want to just work with them with this. So in 2000, after COVID, 2021, I asked them if they want to do this with me, and they said yes. So my idea was to have a classical concert with visual that can tell the story to the audience. It's just a simple concept. And they said it's hard because it's costly at that time to make a visual that tells story for 45 minutes to 1 hour concert is very time consuming, take a lot of work and money. And I said, and I realized that at that time after COVID, I had not much. I didn't have much to provide. I didn't have connections. I was this project I kickstarted alone, basically. So I didn't have any to support me. I didn't have connection. Then it's hard to do. So I kept it until 2024, where after like 3 years of working, now I have more connections. I have sponsors. I know different people, and I want to kickstart it again. So yes, I will share a different one. This is the presentation for our projects. Yeah. So, hello, we are Re.imagine. This is my project Re.imagine, and this is Emil playing. Just last year in November. Yes. This is the brand new one we did. In February, we will make a different one for the new year. So, basically, who are we? It's just us. So this is me. I serve now as a music director for my project. And I invite Emil, my close friend, good-looking guys, half, if you know him, half British, half Norwegian, to be my music advisor. Because, you know, like, I cannot do it alone. Be able to do versatile, I sacrifice some of the classical part. You know, if people ask me if I want to be a good violinist, I say yes. But are you a good classical violinist? I said no, probably not. There are many people who have
yes, he definitely is.
Better knowledge on YouTube.
We know.
Like many
he just
people
likes to
have
What
better
defines
knowledge.
classical music?
He wants other people to say it.
I will define it now. Exactly. That's the point. I think you like it. And then this is acoustic, the team. This is my brother, almost identical twin to me, and this is his friend. They work a lot of stuff. So, right. Why? You said good. You asked a very good question. Define classical music, right? Because the acoustic team, they are not classical musicians. So the first thing we have to decide is what is classical music. Because for me, okay, for many years, people in Vietnam has been trying to use the. We want to spread classical music to common audience, right? By doing lots of things like playing game music, playing film music, playing pop music on the violin, on classical instrument, you know, arranged to quartet, quintet, piano. Does it work? It worked. Because right now, if 2017, I go home, I went on the taxi with my violin, they ask, are you going to play tennis? Because it's a racket. And now, like even the common, you know, driver will know that it's a violin. You know, everyone knows what is a violin now. So it's a big development in terms of knowledge about classical music. So it works. But, I want to share classical music to people. And to able to share classical music, I want the music part to be classical. You know, like it has to be classical music, right? Pop music is not quite, it's not classical music. I explained the definition of classical music in my mind. So the thing that we could change is the experience of audience when they come to our concert. So that's what we're trying to change. But the music part stay classical. So I went around and I asked like the Hona Tetsuji, he's the chief conductor of the Vietnam National Academy of Music, the one who very tough about, you know, classical music stuff. I asked him to help me to define what is classical music, and he said it's hard. Like it's very hard right now, because and then I did some more research and I come to a conclusion that people in Vietnam know about classical music is they didn't quite know about classical. They know about classical era of music, you know, Mozart and then Beethoven. They didn't know much of what is romantic, baroque. They didn't know about it. It's just classical music. Mozart, you know, this is what they know. But then classical music is bigger, right? It's a combination of many different era, ranging to now contemporary music and experimental music. They are contemporary music and experimental music. They are different genre. But there are some overlap. There's some gray area that you know, you can still call them classical music. Depends on the composition. So after a lot of thought, this is just for us. Okay, this is not for everyone. But if anyone asks us like, what is classical music for us as the project? I say classical music is a composition that composed for classical instrument to perform. And to, you know, to show that instrument, like to showcase that instrument to people. So, for example, if you say a pop song like Ed Sheeran song arranged for string quartet, is it classical music? I said no, because it's an arrangement of a pop song. The original composition is a pop song for pop singer and a band, or like, you know, a beat that they compose, production beat. If a contemporary piece that composed for violin, a vocalist, a guitarist, and a drummer. Okay, now this is different, right? If it's a composition for all of them together, then maybe it's not classical music, because as a team, it's only the violin could be in the band too, right? But if, let's say, the composition is for solo violin, accompanied by that band. This is something that very gray area that we can debate. Then it might fall into that area because the instrument that you want to showcase here is a violin, and the band is the addition, the texture. So this is something. Well, we will not go that far with our project, but in case, in case things start to elevate and some clients want us to perform something that's very out there, then this is something that we have to keep in mind, because even though it is not very well developed, but the criticism about classical music and what you do in Vietnam is a real thing. Like you go there, you play a concert, and people will criticize you like about how you play it and something.
That's a Russian school.
Yeah, exactly. So like for me, like I'm like I'm very goofy in life, but in work I'm pretty OCD. So I want to to clean everything like before I move on. So this is something that we thought about. So yeah. But then to have that definition, like to explain what is classical music for us, then it's opened up a lot of repertoire for the project to perform, right? It could range to contemporary music, which is great things, because music should be like, when you listen to music, you should be able to visualize something, and that's what we want the audience to do. So let's move on a bit to this part. The classical music scene in Vietnam still hold untapped potential. This is what we lack of diversity in concert program. Most of the classical music concerts that if you search in Vietnam now, right now, is mostly orchestra, playing orchestral work at the concert hall, which is very normal. But it's like a bit of diversity. There's not much chamber music going on around, and people don't have the infrastructure. Like we don't have the sponsor, the money to do it. Also, we did this small survey for random people. I think we did it as many as we could, to ask them like if there's a chance that they could come to classical concerts like ticket free, would they do it? And many of them said no. And most of the time, because this is the thing though. First of all, because of the media, the way that they portray classical music, they think that you have to learn music. You have to know about classical music to actually go and see classical music to understand. Or like classical music is for, higher class people, which is not true. Music is for everyone. And also, another thing is from movies and other medias, you see people going to concert hall wearing suit and tie and, very, formal stuff. Most people in Vietnam, we are still working. We are still a working generation. We're a developing country. Some people only wear suit and tie on their child's wedding. They never wear suit and tie in their entire life. So to go there, they want to be themselves. They wear normal stuff, casual stuff, but they're afraid that if they sit in the hall full of people who look very high class, like you felt a bit left out. You understand the feeling. So given the chance, they said they might go, but most of the time, no. So we want to change that. This is just me trying to find a solution for Vietnam. Okay, this is not a solution for the world.
Everything you talk about now, it's so much applicable for Norway or for Sweden or for any other country in Europe, I believe. I believe it's exactly the same problems we have everywhere. It's going beyond those borders which are historically like attached, labeled to the classical music, which we all want to, break through. So exactly. I believe that's very universal what you're talking about.
So because of that, like the salary for classical musician in Vietnam is quite low, because you cannot sell ticket very high, because if you sell too high, people will not buy ticket. Like people are willing to spend 10 million, let's say 10,000 kroner to go to a pop concert. But if they spend 2,000 kroner on a classical concert ticket, that they say it's crazy. Like you should not do it, which is strange. I mean, it's not one-on-one like that, but just like the reference on the range of currency. So we want to change that. We want to help with that. that our project pay well and people have fun playing music. And also we want to encourage young artists to express themselves. I mean, we are young artists. We are not the older generation like Claudia. You express yourself through your project, which is wonderful. In Vietnam, it's harder to do so because we don't have sponsors. We don't have foundation that want to sponsor this type of art thing. Like, it's always business. Like, what do you bring and what we can offer you in a way. Like I was in Norway. On the other hand, like there are people or there are foundations that want to support arts, like arts in general. Like if it benefits their taste, I mean, in Vietnam, there's nothing like that. It's always business. So it's hard to find like a concrete sponsor to sponsor for these kind of things. So most of the young artists, they choose to just live their life in a way teaching, not expressing themselves much because there's no chance. Either you pay yourself to do this or you don't. And do you want to pay yourself to try to do something crazy? Probably not, because most people will want to have their salary intact for future proof. In Vietnam, it's strange. We're grown up, we want to buy a house. Buying a house is the mandatory thing. You know what I mean? It's not like we don't want to rent house forever. So we have like this stress, like the stressful in our thing in our life to save enough money to buy a house. This kind of thing. You know what I mean? So most people will not try to to spend so much money on a project. And there are people who's crazy enough, my friends, same generation, spend their money on the project. Then you became this loop of making money, and then sometimes it's flop, sometimes you lost money, and then you try to do another one just to get back, and then you're chasing money yourself. Then somewhere in the middle, art is lost. Like, you try to please the audience, you try to change your program, you change everything to please the audience so you can earn money by ticket sale. Then you cannot stay true to yourself.
Art is gone. Yeah, we get it.
Exactly. So let's say this is just I will send it to you guys. This is the same for different type of art. The other one was for classical music, and this is art in general. The government in Vietnam, we're still developing country, so funding is hard. It's hard to find like proper funding for everything. So most of the time, different type of art form will just have their own groups. They stay together, like ballet, they stay in the same group. Classical music, we stay in the same group. Visual designers, they stay in the same group, and they only work within that circle. So we want to kind of show them that we can do this thing, and there's a chance for everyone to work together, which is to bring different kind of art form together. So we try to offer a new solution, and we have new potential for audience to see us. So this is our first concert, Volume 1, which including Emil and all of us together. That's in November. We just had our first in November. Lots of work, but it was a wonderful experience. So the main Re.imagine event will have 2 days, because we want to do this to get common audience, and we want to do this for people, right? So the ticket sale, like now we don't sell ticket at all. It's free for everyone. We get sponsor, and until now I had a lot of sponsor for LED screen, like the good one, P2, speakers, with the microphone, sound engineer. Like now, after the November, we had everything now. So Volume 2 in the summer is going to be much better. But this is what we are aiming for. So day 1, before the main concert here, we have the community hub where people can come, have a drink together, chat it. Because the people who will come to our concert will come from very different background. We have invitation tickets, and also that's free still, but it's invitation. So we curate a small group of audience, and then of course, like people who love art and who want to join, they just apply and join for free. Then you see in the community hub, there are so many different people, different generation, different works, background. there are people from the government, people from different sections of the government, professors in the classical music, visual designer. Our first concert, we had like famous rapper, famous singers, like all family, friends, like this diversity of bunch of people, gathering together at one place. What could possibly happen, right? So it's just a platform. Like people can talk, people can see, and maybe because they are CEO of many companies who interest in art, but they don't know what to fund, they might open a chance for other projects to get funding from them too. So this is our thing. So community hub, this is for everyone to get to know each other. And then they came in mainly for the main course is the concert. You go there for the concert with visual art. I will explain a little bit more about the technical behind this. And then after that, we have an after party. Like tradition in our classical music, after concert, people will go to the backstage and, congratulations, hey, we throw a party for it. Why not?
Nice.
So now it's basically a community hub with us, with the artists who perform. Then with the whole team who perform, then we can explain to them like what is the purpose, what the story behind it, what did we do with this concert to get this far, what I mean. This is what we do. And then of course, like because it's for community, so the day 2 we open a mini exhibition. We will have maybe we will have a concert in the morning, the same thing, open for public, so no curate audience at all. Everyone apply, they can come, whatever. And then we replay the concert because we have visual that actually tells story in a way. We repeat it like as an art exhibition throughout the whole day. Oh. So people can just drop in, drop out, and the core team with us will be there answering the question. And by the end of the day, we will have a talk show, which basically we speak the thing in at the after party, but now to like as a small workshop to all the common audience if they wish to listening to. So this is the main event, like the main idea that we want to do for every event. We try to do it 2 per year. We're not very ambitious because we don't earn money from this. This is entirely like this volume 1, 2, 3 is non-profit.
Well, I mean, you need to start somewhere, right? So it's just the beginning.
Everything sponsored.
Yeah.
So we don't actually earn. I mean, we earn like coffee money. Let's say coffee money, but we try to not spend our pocket money, and still get the very quality concert. So
it looks fabulous. I was curious, what kind of location do you use? Yeah.
Yeah, so I maybe before I move, I share some photo. Maybe it's better.
At what place was it? What is the venue?
This is our first volume 1 was at the film studio.
It's a film studio.
750 square meters film studio.
Wow.
And then we put a stage, and then I show you photos. Maybe it's easier to understand.
That sounds like a hell of production.
Yeah, so this is like this is like the background where people can come and check in. This is the AI, not AI. This is like the frame that generates from Emil's piece. Actually, this is your Beethoven violin sonatas number 5. This is one of the frame. Render from his performance.
We have some.
We try performance.
We can't really see your screen. Maybe you try it again. For some reason, it's not appearing here.
Let's see.
We have you, and then try again.
And just to say, maybe we didn't make it clear. Also, the visuals are reacting to what we played. So
exactly.
We're playing through a microphone, and then it's generating a response in the.
Yeah, exactly.
I will explain about the tech a little bit later. So do you see now the photo?
Yep.
Yeah. So this is the background. We had sponsor of one very nice friend of mine who decorate this. So basically they want to use flower to make this color pop out. So you can stand on any kind of angle, then you should get a very nice selfie on this background. This is just a little touch. This is nothing. We could not, our first volume, there was so much stuff happen. So we could not really throw in like a community hub at the beginning. So this is what we try to make up for it, for our audience. But in the summer, volume 2 is clear. Like everything was.
I just must say, like,
Yes.
Sorry, your volume 1 looks insane already. I mean,
it looks like a movie production.
Like, oh my gosh, coming to volume 2 and LED. I don't know, like the fact that you had like a LED screen too. Wow.
EP2, like the best one in the world right now. Yeah. So like Vietnam. So like in Vietnam, we have good stuff. Just like it's possible. like we are not so far. We're not far behind the world at all. Like in terms of music festivals.
I've heard a lot about the Australians who they're traveling quite a lot to all different countries in Asia, but they were saying that in general, like just because the tech thing there is something else. So the access is totally different. Because like here in Norway, to get like an LED screen, like where I have to like pay 1 million kroner, it's impossible.
You have to sell a liver.
Well, in Vietnam it's quite costly. But if you have money, then okay. But we had sponsors, so like the price we pay for this top tier equipment is like much less than what you could imagine. So this is Emil with his string sonatas. I will explain a little bit more, but the tech behind is like we use AI. I think Claudia will relate it to this. We use AI to generate our imagination, like the first form. Like we have some photo. Like if I say a giant tree in spring in like a mountain scene or whatever, like we try to generate some that could tell the story in the beginning. And
can you tell more about it? I tried to do the same. What did you use? Is it Midjourney? What kind of engine do you use?
We use a lot. We use many. I also work with offline, like offline model, where you mix model together, stable diffusion. Stable diffusion. No. You can work offline on your computer. So you download it, and then there are model of many people who already train, and then they share it online for free. You can download them, and then you can merge them together. You know what I mean? To create something that best of both worlds. But like the ratio and thing, it took a lot of fine tuning. We use a lot of stuff. I use stable diffusion. Other the acoustic team, they use some paid services online until we just work. We just generate until we find something that closest to our imagination.
But so is it animated? Is it still or it's moving?
It is animated. Everything animated. I will explain soon. So I just showed. Yeah, this is Emil, also Spring. This is us, the Death and the Maiden Quartet. Yeah, you see this.
That
everything
looks spectacular.
Yes, look at this. Okay. Yeah, this is the tech behind. This is nothing. This is just audio. Go to the thing. But if you click on the windows, it opens up millions more notes, and if you click one note, it's open much more. So it took us 7 months to program this thing. So what we did is we every instrument who play, we have microphone like DPA, it cuts the sound. So for violin, for example, if I play staccato, it show a different thing on screen.
Wow.
If I play legato, it shows. So basically the visual react to what you play. So you know what I mean? So basically now if you put everything on top on each other, so we use AI to generate what we want, and then we paint. We first paint on the computer to get like the images, like the background image.
So it actually has a plot. The thing on the screen actually has a plot.
Yeah. So there's a background, but it's just a background.
Okay.
And then, for example, the volume 1, let me show you. Yeah, you see here, there's a circle. This is just, let me just explain some. So you see 3 circles. This is the second movement, which means life developing. So we go from 1 circle to 3. And this circle are moving. So the circle is linked to the cello. The cellist play, and it makes the circle, this kind of expand related to what she play, dynamically and also technically. And also me as a violin, I think I was a bird. If I play, there's a bird flying. If I do staccato, and if I do legato, there's a brush stroke. So the main thing of this is the oil painting. So every time we play, each instrument will generate something on the screen that tell the story. So we are technically painting on the screen at the same time as we play. And we made a joke for ourselves. The concert lasts 45 minutes. The screen run in 60 frames per second. So basically, after the whole concert, we generate 162,000 oil painting, unique oil painting. So you can pause on any frame and generate it. It's a totally different, unique painting. And you can print it, and then you can, we will print some on the canvas and give it as a present to our sponsors, like they loved it. So basically that's what it is. Yeah, this is the whole team, artist team for Volume 1. This is acoustic visual. Yeah, so it's like that.
Fantastic.
Min, your father is also a painter, isn't he? So
that was one of the things that he told me when I was younger, that when he paint, he want his painting to sound something, like to when people to look at his painting, they hear something, and when he hear music, he want to visualize something. That's what that's like a very common, father and son talk. But then that was for me, that's one of the most important thing that follow me for now as a violinist, and also one of the biggest foundation for this project. So we try to give the audience different thing to do in the concert. So that's of course the main course is the classical music, high quality and visual, that interactive, real-time interactive visual on screen. But then we give them some small things, for example, the program, the program book, they can read, because, classical music sometimes is long. There are sections that is not very interesting, might be boring sometimes, then they can use the time, instead of taking out their phone, they can read the program. It's nicely printed. And also at the end, we give them a note paper and a pencil. So they can draw, they can write what they thought. So basically something for them to do. It's very fun to collect their notes after the concert, because it's amazing experience to just, to just read what they thought and what they think about the concert. To further, for you to understand, for example, Volume 1, the story is, the theme is this: nature, human, and art. So basically, we use the images from nature to talk about human, and so through the art performance. So this is the program that me and Emil decide. So the first movement of Violin Sonata number 5, because it's the image of spring, after winter, everything starts to bloom. Yep. This is to show you the mind of a human when we first born. It's like everything is new. You are witnessing everything at the first time, and you're blooming as you are. And then the second one is the Death and Maiden, Franz Schubert. This, the quartet, is crazy. So many emotion, different type of textures. This is to show the human mind when we start to grow up. We start to develop. We experience love, pain, different stuff. Difficulties. Sadness, happy in life. And then in the end, we end it with Primavera, which also spring, by Einaudi. Einaudi is a film music composer. But film music for us is not, if it's written for a film, it's not classical music. But this piece is for his solo album, this is just for piano solo and string orchestra. So this is classical music. So this is why we can choose this music. So it's also spring, but in minimalism. He wrote it in minimalism form, and it's just very chill, everything just like very flat. This is when you are older, when you already been through everything, you accept everything now, and you witness spring again, but in a very different, style. If you remember the 3 circle again, so the first chapter is the 1 circle. The second chapter, it moved into 3. And then the last one became 1 big again, like this. So this is just like concept art that we took from internet. It's nothing so special about. Yeah, I will send it to you. So if you want to,
yeah, please guys, send
more,
all
yes,
the links.
I will.
It would be
Yes.
really great for all our followers to, get a grip on everything you told
Yes.
today, and to watch it with video and sound also.
Yes, absolutely. So target audience, I will send it to you also. Target audience, because our aim is for everyone. So it's basically everyone, except this laggards part is the type of people who, even if you give them ticket, they will not go. Like we will not spend resource to try to convince these people. I mean, it's entertainment at the end of the day, so it's your choice to choose whatever you want to feel. But for innovators, those are CEOs, the people who like really big, who invent stuff, early adopter people who just get to know music. They want to experience new stuff. They want to experience a new type of art. And then early majority and late majority is just us, start to work and already working. So basically everyone except the one who doesn't want to, then we will not spend resource on them. Here, okay, we made a constellation star. This is just for our sponsor when we go pitching to them, but I think it's good for you to see too. So this column is scale. So there's a large one, more than 600 audience, and the smallest one, 20. And then this is conventional, which is like very traditional type of concert, and this is innovative. So you see, all of these are classical projects in Vietnam. Like they are more, but they play field music and they play different stuff. Then we didn't include them here because we want to include something that very classical. Most of them are symphony orchestra. Okay? There are some small scale where like the music is good. Oops, sorry, music is good, but then because of money problem, they cannot go very big. So they stay at 50 audience or so. But then it's became like a different problem because you want to share classical music to common audience. With 50 audience, after a while, it become like a closed circle, like every concert, you see the same people, then it's not the point anymore. So our scale is we have 250 to 300 audience every concert, and very innovative. So we are here alone. So for now, we hope that we will inspire other projects to be somewhere near to us. So we have a community that we can grow with each other. But otherwise, now, after the first concert, we are here. So quite far to the right. Roadmap, this is not something that roadmap, well, basically, we already have set the thing for volume 2. The first volume is only in Hanoi, but volume 2, we already have sponsor 95% to go to Saigon. So we have 4 concerts instead of 1, 2 in Hanoi, 2 in Saigon. So it's moving forward. I think our biggest problem is to find a, like to stable the sponsor income. So now volume 2 would be perfect, right? And then maybe volume 2, 3, and then volume 4. But trend will shift. Now the trend is contemporary art, everything. I hope that when it shifts to classical music, we will survive for a few more years. But like there's a lot of works to sustain the project. If you want to bring high quality concert to common audience free of charge or like very cheap ticket, then you really have to work in the back to kind of provide it with something, so that is our main focus. For volume 2, we already start programming some stuff. It's not going to be too much change, but the scenery, like how people experience concerts will be different. It's not always visual, like big visual and music, but music can incorporate with different stuff too. And I'm really hope like moving forward, we can invite dancer, ballet, or like something like Claudia's with acrobatic. These are something that we already thought. So combine different art form to become something that for the audience in Vietnam. It's like a present.
Just to interject, maybe the Death and the Maiden could be a good starting point for collaboration,
Yeah. She's
some Godzillas on the back there. That would really lift
Yeah,
it up.
Emil just said that maybe our Death and Maiden would be a good starting point to collaborate with you.
Definitely, I like the idea. I will investigate that deeper in sense of financing.
But I think I talk too much. I think I will leave some room for Emil to speak as a Norwegian man who got invited to Vietnam and and experience this firsthand. Maybe you have a nice thing to share. Maybe I give the mic to you.
Sure. Where to start? I mean, I think I could just talk a bit about my relationship with Ming, because I feel like we have a similar kind of approach to music making. I mean, I'm also Ming talked about this kind of having these two sides to him. This very classical side and this very creative and interested in other genres. And it's similar with me. I have a very kind of love for classical music and I'm very serious about that, but also absolutely love other genres and love improvising and compose a little bit also, and just some film music. So I think that's kind of the reason we've kept in touch, actually, because we have a similar outlook and interested in trying to make projects which attract new audiences. But yeah, I mean, coming to Hanoi was Ming touched earlier about the fact that things maybe are not so developed there, but I was very pleasantly surprised by how much was happening there, actually, and how much how vibrant the scene was. There's orchestras and there's jazz bars and there's many creative things happening there, actually. And the people he chose to participate in the project, one of them musicians, lovely people. So it was just a huge pleasure for me to be part of it, really, and also to witness the whole progression from to coming up with a concept, which you started kind of 7 years ago, wasn't it? Right to the planning stage, where that's where I became more involved, and then to see actually the result, and there's so many different parties being involved, not just the musicians, the acoustic team, and also the people decorating, making the flowers and making everything look really nice. And so it was actually a huge organization, and just so impressed that Min has persevered to make this. So it was just a privilege to be part of it.
Yeah,
so far.
I mean, I really don't get all this chat about being from developing culture country. Your first volume looks like, I don't know.
Crazy, right?
I mean, it needs to tour. Yeah.
And knowing how you play, I'm sure it sounded as good, if not better, than how it looks.
Let me try this. I think I figured out for you to listen to through my speakers. So
we will hope. That would be lovely. No, there is no sound. I think it's like a built-in filter, so that the music doesn't come through.
I see. I will send this video to you. I thought I could change the input audio to what I hear now, but probably it's not possible.
Just send the link. It will be easier for. I'm sure people will be happy to watch it in their free time. I had a question for you. What?
Yes.
What was it, Claudia? Did you say something?
Oh no, I was just saying I would love to check it out afterwards.
Yeah, so right. We all
yeah, thank you.
Wanted to ask you, Emil, if it influenced the way you play, having this installation behind you, which reacts on how and what you play, the visual part.
It did a bit. I mean, most of the performance, I had my back turned to it, so you can't really see it. But definitely when we were testing it out, it does make you kind of, you're trying to get some reaction. So you're kind of playing around with it. But yeah, I think for the actual performance, I wasn't really aware of what was going on behind me. Just focusing on my. But there might be times where maybe I want to take a little bit more time just to make the visual kind of
more articulated.
Yeah.
I sort of had always, this very popular discussion for classical musicians, especially if it's important how you look on stage. That's another type of discussion. We're not going there, but I mean, it makes me think very often about this very known fact for any physicians or biologists who study humans, that human body is built this way that we obtain 75% of information with our eyes, and the percentage of information obtained by ears is like in 10-20%, something like that. And therefore,
I wonder if...
Yes, Claudia? Yeah, and so my point was that actually we are willingly or not willingly, we're depending much more on our eyes. So therefore, when people are coming in the hall, that would be a pity not to use that reach, that 70% informational reach to the human souls, which obviously, because if it was only just about our ears, people would stay home and use good speakers and Spotify, because there you can find any sounds you want in the world. So this seemed to be just so logical next step in the whole performing industry, that the video has to take a bigger important significance. At least I think it's a pity when musicians are underestimating that. We might want to state, of course, that the most important is what we do with our hands and what the sound comes out. But at the same time, we can't ignore the simple biological limitations of our being. And
yes, it's hugely important. It definitely, and it's so underestimated, isn't it? It's in the more sort of traditional classical world, how you present yourself on stage, how you dress, how that whole thing is a huge discussion these days. How
Yeah, and I think especially maybe this is a post-COVID talk as well, but I think because we became much more, maybe not necessarily for good and bad, addicted to technology even more, or reliant on technology, and so the visual input of seeing even just text on a reel, on a video, you're used to seeing reels, you're used to seeing visual information through, I don't know, we're competing with Netflix, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think for myself personally as well, when I go and pay for a concert or pay for something, I want an experience. I want to be immersed inside something, because home is so nice, and especially after COVID, people have really gotten used to how good it feels to hang with family, to hang with friends, and have those experiences, great experiences in fantastic films or something like that at home. You're not paying any money for that. So that's a big, or for me, it's been a big shift of thinking oh shit, the audience has changed. I have changed. As you were talking about before, everyone has changed.
There's something died inside everyone. Different thing, but everyone died a bit inside.
Or maybe some other things woke up. We can see things in a little bit more positive.
Exactly. Actually, for the question to Emil, I actually had a very nice memories. If you remember, Emil, the first time, I mean, we were been practicing, rehearsing together, but we didn't quite try it with visual until near the concert day, because there's a lot of work to do, And the very first rehearsal with visual, the music part, when we tried to do so, it was not very high quality. Everyone tried to do things to make it happen on the set, just fun, just making fun, you know what I mean? But I think it's good that it is a part of the concert. But the classical music part is very professional. You play your classical concert. You know what I mean? With the LED or not, you play your best. You play as you. It's not because it's just us. If we suddenly realize that we are in different environment, we suddenly change the way we play. Just kind of, why not? It's adapting. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's not. If you want, and classical is such a genre of music that require dedication, knowledge about it, in like the way we play it, like the way we present it. Like you actually have to know and plan a lot of things in your head before you play. So without knowing it, like Emil, I'm sure Emil, we had one test run concert, and then we had our main concert. Emil played both. I don't think he he realized what's happening behind. But after that, though, like seeing the photo and everything, we was like, oof.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I wonder if he suddenly turn around and see all this crazy tree happen and then birds flying, maybe it's different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it could be.
So everything has its place. The audience play a big part of the concert too. Engaging with it, because I actually thought a lot. My guardian in Norway, he was a contemporary music composer, Geir Johnsen. He passed away. He's Norwegian. He talked a lot of things to me about contemporary music that made me think. There are people said that they are good pieces and they are bad pieces. Like what is bad about it and what is good about it. I think it's fall into 3 steps. First, the composer, he has to compose the music. Like every contemporary piece, it has very fancy name, like Eyes for an Eyes, The War of Minds, like this kind of thing, or like Elevate. Like, okay, sure, you put the name. That's the first thing that us as a musician, when we look at it, okay, this piece is The War of Mind. Okay, I want to see the war. I want to see something stirring inside, okay? And then he composed it, right? The composer composed it with the name, with like the idea in her head. He or she should be able to convey it through notation, or like speak to the performers in a way that we understand. So that's the first step, right? The second step is the performers. Okay, we perform it. We understand what it is now. Now we have to kind of imagine in our head what is going on, what should we do, what is the images, and we try to send that visual image in our head to the audience through our playing. And then, of course, the third step is the audience. Like they have to be open to this kind of thing, because many people who come to contemporary music or experimental music with the mindset of it's crap, then it's crap from the beginning. You cannot save it. Like, it doesn't matter how good you play, you cannot save it. So with that 3 steps, I think it's the same with what we do with our I try to follow those steps in my project in a way. So when we do it, we set our story straight, and we make sure to convey to the musician who perform in the concert what we want, what images we want the audience to see. And then the musician will try to perform it as best as they could. And then, of course, the audience who came in with like the program, they see the story and we're just trying to give them a lot of information for them to guide them to imagine what we want them to imagine. But of course, like they are very welcome to imagine whatever they want, because as long as they still imagine something, then the concert will be success somehow. So this is just my thought about it.
I think it's a great way of sum up everything we talked here today. And I'm very grateful, guys, that you could join for this almost 2.5 hour long talk. I'm super grateful. I really hope we can stay in touch, stick together, because I'm really, really, really grateful hearing you all, and I really want to hear more from you. I really hope I can pull off some projects, maybe with us all together or separately. We will see how this works. We just still stay in touch. Very nice meeting you, Emil. I hope you stick to us. Please join us and spread the news about our group. We are on Facebook, and there are more lectures. Not all of those meetings we have, by the way, are with like artists. There are also some meetings with the guys on the other side, with producers. So like our last meeting was with 2 Norwegian producers, which I think is just very good for us to hear, the other side, what they look at when they are deciding to support or not support the project, invite or not invite for a festival and stuff like that. I think it's very good. So join us. There will be more. And I hope also we will get some means to continue next year. Thank you again. Yes. Please send the links.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so
much. Very nice to meet you, Claudia.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. Your work is super inspiring. I'm going to send it around.
I'm going to try and come to your show, Claudia.
Yeah,
Yes.
sounds good. I'll message you. I should be able to. I think there's like just Anyway, I'll message you. Okay.
Awesome, thank
Yeah,
you.
you just you can share whatever you want. Send it to me. I will post it on our group. It will be lovely
Sounds
for
great.
people to see. Thank you so
Okay.
much. Hug you
Yeah.
all.
Thank
Have a
you
great
so
day.
much.
All right.
And
Okay,
Happy New
cheers.
Year,
Bye.
Min. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New
Happy New Year.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye bye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Oh.
How do I do that? Like that.